Hello and welcome to another update video about Verasity. I haven't really covered Verasity in any video yet, but I did talk about it quite extensively in one of the recent member live streams. Every Sunday we do a member live stream for every channel member. You can participate if you're a member. If you're not a channel member and you want to participate in weekly live streams as well, where you can ask all sorts of questions, we usually take a look at the fundamentals of certain projects. Sometimes I talk about projects that are not part of the day-to-day videos that I do. Then check out the channel membership. You can do that in the video description by following the links either to my website, or you can even join here on YouTube. And Verasity is a project I really like. We talked about it, as I said, in the live stream, and I would like to do a TA video on that now as well. It has been heavily requested. And on top of that, I have also added the Verasity buy orders to my buy order sheet, buy and sell orders. If you're a channel member, silver or gold, you can find my buy and sell orders on the Discord server. And I have added Verasity to that now as well, because I personally like to buy Verasity and invest in it and have hopes for it in the next run to the upside. And it has also been requested by the channel members. So there you go. I've added that today, and to as the icing on the cake, we are also going to do a TA on Verasity. This is Verasity VRA. Prices come from Bittrex here. What we see here on the chart are currently the Fibonacci levels laid out. What I really wanted to show you is here this previous wave that we did. So basically what we did is the previous all-time high here was basically Veracity's first wave one. A wave one to the upside, a wave two to the downside. As per the Elliott wave method, you always get the wave one to the upside, then a wave two down, a wave three up, which is then the most bullish wave typically. The wave four is a corrective wave down, and the wave five is the last wave into the trend direction, which normally goes up. Typically the trend goes to the upside, because if the trend doesn't go to the upside, the asset is dying anyway. Of course, depending on the time frame, you can also get 5 waves down. This all depends on if you're in a short-term downtrend or whatever. But here at the moment, I'm looking at the higher level trend. This goes up, therefore you had here for this first wave up, you had 5 waves up, you had 3 waves down. The low was exactly at the 88.7% Fibonacci retracement level. You know, this is the level that I oftentimes mention for altcoins as the level where they have a high probability of turning around. Had a very, very nice low in here, from which we started to new all-time highs. Again, the 88.7% Fib level at around 0.7 cents. Very, very interesting, absolutely. So that is just what I wanted to show you, because if one cryptocurrency or an asset, could be even a stock or a share, when it has adopted a certain behavior, it will typically keep this behavior throughout its lifetime, which doesn't mean it always needs to work 100%, but typically you can then aim for these Fib levels in the next wave as well. And here again, we have another wave one up and a wave two down. Why a wave two? Well, this is not a wave three or a wave four, because it has come down too far. It has come into the target area back from that previous wave one, or in that price area, and the wave four cannot do that. So you've got your 1-2 and another wave 1-2. Again, both of these waves need their wave 3 as well, which makes it more bullish, because if you have 2 1-2 setups or even 3 1-2 setups, Bitcoin is currently doing its third 1-2 setup. To be fair, it's also an older asset than Verasity. You can expect this to be extremely bullish in the future, because it just extends any uptrend, which is fantastic. So these cryptos are currently only building the foundation for their future growth by building these highly volatile ups and downs by these 1-2 setups. This is required. Typically assets are doing that, especially in the beginning of their lifetime. We can currently see this with PayPal as well, so it's doing something similar. Palantir is something similar in terms of stocks and shares. So it's not only altcoins are so volatile. No, you find equally volatile stocks and shares. If they are very young, they do the same stuff. Which also will tell you that in the future, at some point, the crypto market won't be as volatile anymore. Especially altcoins. If they have, after 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they might not be as volatile anymore. Because they have built their structure, they've built their foundation, and then they can just profit from it and will remain less volatile, which is good as well. It will attract more institutional investors. Anyway, we come down now also again to this 88.7% Fib level at 1.7 cents. So very interesting, because we did exactly the same thing in the last wave too. Not saying that the downtrend is over here yet, because what I'm looking for is now a breakout to the upside, any kind of a 5-wave move to the upside. I'm a bit worried that we could break this Fib level, and then the next support would be at 0.7 cents. That is certainly a level which I'd be looking out for as well. Here might be important, might be interesting to watch out for. I'd be a bit careful with that. If you lose the current level here, 1.7 cents, I mean, we're currently at 2 cents, but if you lose that 88.7% FIB level, which could happen if Bitcoin does a major drop, then yeah, then you could drop to 0.7 cents. Yeah, absolutely. So you need to be a bit careful about that. If you lose that level, there isn't really much more that will support the price. But 0.7 cents, I think that is a price below which I wouldn't see Verasity fall. Yeah. As I said, we have reached this target area here, which means also in terms of the elite wave rules, you know, what a wave 2 typically does, especially for crypto, we can expect that the correction could be over, but not that it has to be over yet. We have to see a higher high, a higher low, not seeing that yet. But very importantly, Verasity does not need to correct down lower. It has done what it needs to do in the correction. And so far we can just now lean back, wait for the first higher high and the higher low. For me, these are already attractive prices to get in. Personally, yeah, I mean, you can certainly wait for a little bit lower prices, but for me, this is already very attractive. Because what would the next wave up, if the next wave is a wave 3, what would we expect for Verasity? We would expect a 14 cent, at least 14 cent to 17.5 cent Verasity. This is the absolute minimum target. It will most likely be higher, maybe more around 22 cents, which would be already a 10x for the next wave up. This is not a super long-term target. This would be the target for the next major wave up, so rather medium term, okay? You can see here how the price is reacting to these FIB levels. It is sort of flattened out, it's bottomed out, but I'm looking also with one eye on Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin continues to correct down, it will have an impact on Verasity, and then Verasity could really drop below that 88.7% FIB level at 1.7 cents. So I'd be a bit careful about that. But generally, the current price area is interesting for me personally. Yeah, there's no financial advice. Now, what can the indicators tell us about Veracity's potential correction not being finished? Well, we can see that the RSI, even though it was starting to move up here again and making a bit of buying momentum, gaining a bit of buying momentum, this has received a sharp drop again. So still in the bearish range. Verasity has pretty much, with the exception of this little pump here in February, has really been in the bearish range below 50 on the daily RSI since November. So not really confirmed any move to the upside. Here the MACD is also giving us a bearish crossover on the MACD. Yeah, so also on the daily, expecting to see further prices dropping. Yeah, we can also see here that the stochastic RSI is still very high, so could also support further price drops, which would just confirm what I've been talking about here, that we aren't finished yet with that correction. The weekly RSI also here still in the bearish range, no sign of a recovery really. Yes, the MACD is sort of reducing buying momentum a little, reducing selling momentum a little bit, but again, no turnaround here yet, so wouldn't look too much into that. But at some point, as you can see here on the weekly, you can see how flat the stochastic RSI currently is. It can do that for a while, but at some point it needs to go up again. So, you know, I think we are sort of in the last meters of this correction, but it could still take another few weeks to really complete this all and finish this all off. Yeah. Overall, what is very interesting is we had this ascending trend line here on the chart, and we're currently still holding above it. I wouldn't necessarily bet on it that we are going to hold this trend line because, for example, Chainlink has dropped below this trend line as well. So just if you have a trend line like that, it doesn't mean it will hold. It is certainly a good support level, yeah, and we are still hovering above this support, and this is sitting at 1.8 cents. We did drop below it briefly, but on the weekly it did hold certainly that support. So the candle the candle didn't close below it, but it's certainly an interesting one to watch, yeah, this trend line. But I wouldn't necessarily bet that we are definitely going to hold this. That is certainly a very important message here. So yeah, I gave you here the support and resistance levels, also in terms of the Fibonacci levels. This target area, as I said, is sitting between 1.6 cents or 1.7 and 2.5 cents, and we're currently in the middle of this. Yeah, currently holding above this support line, But to really see a break, by the way, I'm seeing here potential head and shoulders forming as well. So if you lose any of these support lines, you could really drop far lower. You know, I wouldn't really want to talk about a confirmed breakout until we break above this 3.5 cent level here. This would also involve us breaking above the 50-day moving average, which is coming down here in orange and pushing the price currently down a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot to do for Verasity still, but I think it's a really promising project and I think it's going to do really well. All right, that's my view here on Verasity. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.